Hi everyone, welcome along to my latest video here on Busy Bee Budgets. Thanks so much for coming along. I really appreciate you stopping by and hopefully you'll find it a bit interesting, because today what I'm going to do is talk about how my first month of cash stuffing has gone. I'm kind of nearing the end of February into my March budget, and I'll do a separate video on my March budget. But I just thought I'd share some of the things after having done this for a month. Some things I've learned, some things I'm going to do differently next month. But yeah, I just thought it'd be interesting. So obviously nothing in this video is financial advice. This is purely me just sharing with you my journey and what I'm doing to move towards financial independence. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, please stick around and let's get into it. So as you know, if you have been here before, February is the first time that I've actually ever done a budget, let alone do cash stuffing. And I just think it's really been eye-opening, and I think what's gone really well for me is the sinking funds and how much I've been able to save, and we'll come on to that in a bit later. But obviously it's just been much more mindful for me about what I've been having in my variables and basically what everything costs. And probably like all of you, I've had a energy bill go up. So this month it's gone from 175 to 325. And it's just, I think this just process has just really reduced all the anxiety around that and just been able to focus on what I need to do and how I need to move money around to kind of cover everything. So I think that peace of mind and just the ability to know where you're at and know what's coming in and what's going out, because before money came in and money came out and I didn't really ever track it or know where it went. And I think particularly at the end of the month, you'd kind of get to the end of the month and not really know where quite a large portion of my money had gone. And now I think probably, having done this process, probably a lot of it went on socialising and eating out. But we will come on to that in a bit. But it's just given me like real clarity. So I did this February budget sheet kind of mid-year, mid-month even. I'd had the numbers and stuff, but I hadn't really kind of laid it out like this. So if I just go through. So one thing I didn't do at the beginning of the February budget was work out how many weeks there were in the month. And I just assumed because February was a short month that there would be 4 weeks. But actually, because of the way I get paid, which is I get paid on the 8th of the month, actually for me it's almost a 5-week month. Well, it is a 5-week month. So I made a bit of a mistake when I was doing my envelopes in terms of I did it for 4 weeks and then didn't really think about the 5th week. So like next month I'll make sure that I've got the weeks sorted and that I will be doing that properly. And in terms of income, everything came in as I expected. So my main salary, which is 5520, that from April will be going down because of changing my hours at work. But that's currently where it's at. I won't know though until probably the last week of March of what my income's going to be for April onwards. So I really would have liked to have known that earlier, but the way that they calculate it at work, they can't let me know till closer to then. So I won't know it when I've done the March budget. But by the time I do the April budget, I will know that. I had some side hustle money come in of 562 and then eBay money of 53.50 this month. So all in all, they all came in as expected. And what I did this month, which I think I will continue to do, is I've just done my budget based on my sole salary. And I haven't counted any side hustle or any extra money that I make from anything else. And what I do is sort of stuff that mid-month once I know what's going on. And I really like that, and I think I'll definitely do that again this month, or as we kind of head into March and April. It just gives me a bit more kind of wiggle room each month to kind of know where I was going. My fixed bills all came out as expected, so they're all fine. This bills figure will be going up from April to reflect the gas and electric rises, which I'm sure we're all seeing, so I'll need to redo that. And my sinking funds, I think these were broadly right, and in a minute we'll count how much we've got in them, and some of these are actually higher than I initially budgeted because I stuffed them with the side hustle money. But I've also added another couple of categories for next month because I think there's a few gaps that I need to do, and probably one more I think will need to be added in. And then food, and then all my variables, which we'll go through in a minute. I guess what I've been quite surprised at is I set what I thought were quite generous budgets for some of these, and I've still managed to kind of spend it all. And this month's been quite unusual. There's 2 mistakes I made. So firstly, I didn't sit down and look through my diary and actually assess what I had coming up each month. So I just thought, oh, I roughly spend £100 a month on socialising, let's say. But actually this month I had quite a few things booked in. So what I've done for the March budget is actually sit down with my calendar and work out what I've been committed to already and what like they might cost. So that I'm not kind of caught out by it. So that was a tip I got from Budget Save Grow. So that was a really good tip, and I really appreciated that. And also the kind of the 5-week months. So again, I've looked at that, and then I've kind of worked out that actually some of these I want to swap around from variable funds into sinking funds and vice versa. So we'll go through that when we go through my envelopes. So all in all, I've really loved doing it. It gives me a feeling of peace, which sounds a bit weird, but it just makes it all feel quite consistent, and I just feel like I know where I am, and also just engaging with the community, because I just love watching everyone's videos, love watching what everyone's doing, and just really how lovely everyone's been about the community and stuff, and that's all been amazing. So I'm going to pop that away now, and we're going to look through my envelopes. So this is my black binder, which is my everyday binder, and first one is food, which is the one I've kind of struggled with to kind of keep on track with most. I set like a really generous budget, which I thought, so somewhere between 80 to £100 a week, but that does cover my food, my toiletries, my cleaning products, and the dog's food. So it's not just purely food for the two of us, it's like everything for the house. So I've currently got £40 in there, but I am going to go and do some food shopping tonight, so that will probably go down by another 20. And then I've just got some change in here, which I'm just going to put in my change pot. Apologies for the noise, I know it's really annoying, but some people like it, don't they? There's like those ASMR videos where people have like stuff like this, but I find it a bit annoying. But anyway, so we've got 40 in there at the moment, and I am going to stuff this with the remaining 70 for my budget, but there is no money going in any other envelope today. It's just the food one that I'm stuffing. So 20, 40, 60, 70, 90, 100, 110. But as I say, there'll be a couple of bits that will go out tonight, so it will probably end up being about £90 for the final week, which should be absolutely fine. So yeah, we'll see where we are. Fuel, I've spent 40. I've got 10 left, but I am going to need more fuel, so that's an envelope that I've increased in next month's budget, just because obviously fuel prices are going up, and now I'm driving a bit more with work, that needs to kind of go up. So I've increased that to 70 from 50 in next month's budget. Self-care has still got quite a lot in, so 20, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110. But as I said, I've got a skin treatment and various other bits and pieces, so that will be quite stuffed next week. Socialising has got nothing. I've spent absolutely everything on socialising. Gifts, and if you've seen any of my other videos, you've seen this one move backwards and forwards between sinking funds and variable. I've got it in variable at the moment because I've got lots of birthdays I'm buying for at the moment, and so it's handy to have the cash, and I've already spent quite a lot out of this category this month, so I've still got 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140, 150 and 160, and then 5, so I've got 165 left. And I've probably bought half the presents that I need to, and I've still got another half to buy. So once I restuff that for March, then I'll get the remaining gifts, which are mainly for late March and early April birthdays. But that is kind of unusual. I've had to stuff it really heavily this month and next month, but then from April I'll just be able to like reduce it down to about £50 a month, I think, and just keep that ticking over. So that one's a bit of an oddity, and probably after April I'll switch it back into my sinking funds binder because I don't need it all the time. Miscellaneous, I've spent everything, and giving, I've spent everything. Giving, I gave, I actually found £20 completely randomly when I was walking the dog, and I donated the £20 plus what was left in the envelope to the Ukraine appeal, because obviously what's happening is just horrific. So yeah, so those are all kind of empty. So at the end of the month there's not a lot left. And those that have got big ones like self-care and gifts are kind of one-off because of circumstances this month. So going forward, I'm expecting that they will probably clear out each month. And I haven't quite decided what I'm doing about rollover and stuff. But I have got some saving challenges, which I'll talk to you about in a moment. So that's it for my individuals. And then for my sinking funds, I'm really pleased with the sinking funds. I've never had this much kind of tangible money left over at the end of each month. So I'm really pleased with how these have gone. So financial goals, I've got 1,000 placeholder in the bank, and then I've got 20, 40, 60, 81, 20, 40, 60, 82. So I've got 200 there. So 1,200 has gone into financial goals, which is just epic. I've never done that before. Home, I've stuffed quite heavily because I've got some upcoming work on the house, So I'm going to stuff this heavily this month and next month, and then hopefully again this should be one that can drop down a bit. So I've got 20, 40, 60, 81, 20, 40, 60, 82, 20, 40, 60, 83, 320. So that's really good. I'm having my decking done, so that's a really good start. I'm going to stuff it heavily next month, and then again that should drop down. Car had 150 in it, but what I've done is prepaid for my service and MOT, which isn't due till March, but when I booked it you pay for it because it's kind of an online system. So I actually from my next paycheck owe that £20, or it owes me £20, whichever way around it is. But what I'm hoping is, if as I've prepaid for the MOT and the service, that if actually there's nothing wrong with it, then that's all I'll have, and that money for next month will be enough to pay my annual car tax, in which case we can get back to it being kind of a proper sinking fund. So nothing in at the moment, but all good. Emergency, I think we've got 100 in, 20, 40, 60, 81. Yeah, we've got emergency. Yeah, and then Christmas, I think we've also got 100. So 20, 40, 60, 81. But nice that they're starting to pick up. And then experiences had 400, but I have only £10 left. And I paid for two big things, one of which I can remember, which was a trip in the summer to Buckingham Palace. And the second, I can't remember what I paid for. I think, I tell you what it was. We paid for it Airbnb. So I'm only down to £10. And again, this is another one over the next couple of months. I'm probably going to hit quite hard because we've got some stuff that I need to pay for. But then it will settle down and I'll probably reduce it. So, but they're all kind of, I like spending money on experiences. That's one of the things I value. And it's nice to get stuff booked in, especially after the last couple of years that we've had. Yeah, it's just nice to have some stuff to look forward to, isn't it? Clothes has got 50, so 20, 30, 40, 50. This is one that was in my variable envelopes, but what I've done is moved it across a sinking fund, and I've decided, because part of this journey for me was about being more mindful and considerate about how I spent my money. And so what I've decided to do with this is leave this at £50, but I'm not going to put any more money in my March budget or beyond. And if I want something, I'm going to need to sell some other clothes. So I need to sell some clothes on eBay anyway, or Vinted or whatever. But whatever I make from that will get stuffed into this envelope. But I'm not going to allocate anything from my budget to this envelope going forward. It just needs to be like a cost neutral one. So it's got £50 in it. I've not touched it this month. I've not even thought about it. So it's not a priority for me. And then that's it really. So I've bought some more envelopes. These are from Keep It Personalised GB. Exactly the same as I've got before. So I've got the rose gold, and I think it's font number 6. But I got a bank envelope because I didn't have one, so I've been using my rollover envelope for like the bank, and it's not great. So that will go into this envelope. And then I've also going to set up a sinking fund for vets, because I realise, like watching some other people's YouTube videos, I didn't have anything for vets. And although we've got insurance, there's always an excess, and you know it's like whenever it seems to be that my dog has a problem with their teeth a lot, and they don't cover teeth and whatever. So it feels like we spend out every so often on vets, and obviously she has her annual checkup and stuff. So I'm going to start a sinking fund for next month for vets, and then I'm also going to add treats into sinking funds. And this, I think, is probably how I'm going to use my savings challenges. And this is kind of for big things that I want for myself, which really are kind of splurges. And I think part of this whole system, it's about rewarding yourselves with the things that you really want, and that are valuable to you. And so what I'd like to do is start setting up a savings account so that if I want to buy a really nice handbag, or want to buy something really expensive for myself, that I don't feel guilty about it, and I don't feel like I'm taking it away from the rest of the household finances. So I've put that as an extra sinking fund, but I'm not going to stuff it from my main budget. What I think I'm going to do is I picked up these two savings challenges. I'll link the descriptions below. So the first one obviously has got bees on it, so I couldn't resist it. And this is an £800 savings challenge on £20 notes. And then this is a 5k saving budget, which obviously if you colour off these squares, then that will get you to 5k. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stuff these from anything that's left over from my budget on a monthly basis, i.e. like rollover. Anything that I get in side hustle money that isn't allocated to another sinking fund, and then just any other income that I make that I kind of want to allocate. And I think it'd be nice to kind of put it away in a separate thing that I don't have to worry about again, and I can kind of do what I like with. So they're going to be added into my sinking funds from next month. But as I say, not all of them will kind of come out of the budget, if that makes sense. That's all about kind of creating extra income and extra ways of making money, or relocating money. So they're all going to be added in for next month. And then I've added one more into my variables, which is for spends. And this I noticed kind of, and I think maybe this is why social and miscellaneous kind of have taken such a hit. But I don't have anything like, if I just want a cup of coffee, or I just want a book, or I want like, I'm probably like all of you, I'm buying lots of stationery at the moment off Etsy for my budgeting journey. But like, there was no real category for this. So I'm going to stuff this on a monthly basis as well, which is just for like those incidental little things that are for me. And are just kind of like little treats for myself, or little kind of whatever. So I'm going to add spends into my monthly budget for next month. So I think that's pretty much it. Obviously my change jar's looking quite full already, which is nice. And I think anyone who's thinking about starting on this cash journey, I'd say just do it. And don't worry about getting it perfect, because we all like revise and refine it as we go along. And it's more important that you kind of get going and then make it perfect later, rather than you try and get it perfect from start. So like anyone who's thinking about it, I'd say definitely do it. And the other thing I was a bit worried about was, it's been a long time since I paid by cash. Actually, I always used to tap with my phone or my card or whatever. And I've been surprised at how relatively easy it has been to switch back over to using cash, particularly for the day-to-day things. So like buying petrol, not a problem. Buying food, not a problem. And if I'm ever in a situation where I feel like not very comfortable paying with cash, then I just tap it on my card and make sure that I take it back to the bank, or kind of like feed it into next week's budget. So I've got a buffer in my bank account. I'm going to keep that as a bit of a slash fund, just so that you can kind of smooth over. Because sometimes it is obviously easier for you to pay on your card. And a lot of the gifts I've bought this week have been like online presents and stuff, and I do shop a lot online, so that's not really going to change. But just having the physical cash, which you move between whichever envelope it's in, back to the bank envelope, is good enough for me in terms of a physical friction factor. Because I think, like a lot of us feel, if you're just tapping, it doesn't really feel like real money. And also there's almost like a gamification element, isn't there? Like it's not real, and it just feels like good, get the dopamine hit. So I think the cash thing has been really good for kind of just keeping track on all of that. So I hope that has been interesting, particularly if you're either like new to your cash journey, or you're thinking about starting it. I couldn't recommend it enough, and I think it's just really good for lots of reasons. But particularly at the moment, because obviously things are going up and it is getting more fraught, and we've had like a couple of weird years of not really going on holidays and not really socialising as much, and now like life's kicking back off again, and it's difficult to know like where everything's going to go. So I feel like this has been just a really good positive way to start it. But I'd love to hear what you think, feel, what's happened like in your lives, why you started cash budgeting, like something else you think I need to be thinking about. There's one more sinking fund I think I might get, which is like healthcare, to cover like dentist and optical and stuff, because that's probably helpful, but that doesn't feel like such a priority at the moment. But yeah, in time that will probably be something I want to set a sinking fund up for. So thank you so much for sticking around. Appreciate it was kind of a bit of a waffle. But yeah, that's my kind of experience on my first month of cash journey. In my next video I'm going to talk you through my March budget, which looks a little bit different from this one. Obviously adding in the new categories and doing some new bits. And also March will be the last budget before my income reduces, so it's good for me to kind of build some of the sinking funds up and stuff in advance of that, and that's where we get to. So thanks for sticking around. I hope you have a lovely day and you stay safe, and take care, and I'll see you in the next video.